This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts.
Hi, I'm Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I am Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
And we'll go back to another episode of
Smoking Out the Closet.
For those of you who are new or just joining us, especially those who are joining us for the first time after the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival, we are a queer podcast.
Pun intended.
Talks about cannabis,
The LGBT community,
and everything in between.
and beyond.
So welcome.
Welcome.
So we may sound a little bit different. I recently found a soundboard, and I've been playing with it between last episode and this episode. And yeah, we're currently recording with a soundboard for the first time instead of Bluetooth little like TikTok mics. It's weird. A little. Not too bad, but you know, I definitely feel like it's an adjustment, and hopefully we sound a lot better for you guys.
Next move is mic stands, so we can do dabs while we record.
Yeah, because we're having to hold this by hand, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a long hour. That being said, speaking of dabs, you gave us a really good cutaway, borrowing from Weed and Grub, Cutaway King over here. Oh no, he was Segway King. Do you want to introduce it, or do you want me to introduce it?
You introduce it. You're the one who bought it. You're really excited about it.
I luckily got a Puffco Proxy on a deep discount, 40% off from Puffco themselves, so it comes with a warranty. But yeah, I got the Puffco Proxy. It is the pipe-looking one. It is really nice, versatile, very easy to travel with. I am doing it on a payment plan, just because I'm not... It was still, even with the 40% off, it was still like $170-something. So, I was like, nah, I could eat this in 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Can't do much after that, though. So, but yeah. So I like how it hits. It's very smooth, especially compared to the Dr. Dabber that we had and reviewed previously on the show.
Absolutely.
Which you did brought up when we were talking about it earlier, and it didn't register to me because I'm not coughing nearly as much as I was with that.
Once the Puffco gets hot and going, you start to cough a little more. At least I did.
Yeah, but that's like... We did like, what, 6 sessions, like
back
6
to back
restarts and a refill.
That Dr. Dabber, though, first thing off the bat, it's just too harsh. That's why I don't do dabs. It's too harsh for me.
Yeah.
But that freaking Proxy. I've hit other people's Proxies. That 3D chamber makes the difference.
Yes, it does.
Because it's even, and it's smooth, and it's flavorful. I love it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I have loved the Proxy. I have not been able to convince myself to buy one because it's expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Especially if you have that 40% discount. I don't know if any other bud tenders are listening. If your job gave you a Puffco talent training, whether it's seed talent or I don't know what anybody else's company uses.
Yeah, it might be different per state as well.
But go in there. Puffco has a training. It'll tell you all about the new Proxies, the new Peaks that came out, the new Pro,
the 3D chamber,
the 3D chambers, and then you get a 40% off coupon. It doesn't unfortunately work on the Cup C, which is what I wanted to buy because it just tracks. It's just me, as if you know me as a person. That is something that I need as a person. But I don't feel like spending $60 on an aluminum coffee cup.
Yeah,
full price.
Yeah, that's a bit pricey. But I will say, I'm giving the Proxy a 4 out of 5, honestly. No, I understand it's a little newer. It's only like, 2 years old?
Yeah.
It's still an expensive product for what it is.
Yeah.
It does come with a decent warranty, but the issues I have is if you lit it, if it gets too hot and goes into, it has an auto shut off, it won't let you turn it back on for another session if it gets too hot, which is fine. But the issue I'm having, there's an airflow chamber from the atomizer area to the actual pipe parts.
Yeah.
Because the beautiful thing with the Proxy is you can take the concentrate adapter out, and then you can put it into other products that are made to fit it or can be made to fit it.
You have a local glass blower, they can make it to fit it. Puffco themselves has a bunch of different glass pieces on their website that are usable.
Yeah. But the thing is because of that airflow chamber, a lot of concentrate leaks out the side.
Yeah, I did see that because that airflow is at the top of that 3D chamber. So if you tip it and you have stuff in there, it's going to go right down into the
Or if you're like me, because I don't have a hot knife, because a hot knife's expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
I kind of like scrape the concentrate up and on the side so a little gets in the like side of the air chamber. Even if you try digging it out, you're going to leak.
Yeah.
So that is a big downside for me, and that was actually enough to take it down to half, because having to clean it and everything and just constantly cleaning is a little bit difficult. It is more, and I will give it, it is a lot easier to clean than the Dr. Dab.
Yeah,
100% will say that. But I feel like also at the point of the Puffco, its price, you're kind of paying for the name in a sense too.
Absolutely, I feel like it's that way with all the Puffcos because it's Puffco.
Yeah. So, no, I definitely feel like you're paying price, which isn't a bad thing, but definitely is something that I am considering taking down. So between the leak on the side, which I was told about before I even bought mine, because that's actually a pretty common issue with Proxy, and the price point, I had to knock it down to a full percentage down.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the versatility, the travel ability, because I've had friends take this to work to the airports and travel with it.
Huh.
So, I mean, it's a lot easier to travel with that.
Yeah.
Than go with like the actual like the Peak or the Peak Pro
and
or
the
anything
case
like
on
that.
Dr. Dabber looks, you will get pulled over with security with that. It looks weird.
It does. Where this just looks more like a little travel. I've had people pass it off as a makeup bag.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to kind of hide, and it's like a pipe. So like you could also argue like, oh, what is that? It's like, well, I'm going to a recreational state. Like one of my coworkers was just full on honest. He was like, I work at a medical state. This is for concentrates for vaporization.
Yeah.
I'm going to a recreational state. I need my medicine. And they're like, okay. Because TSA, I don't think it's every TSA agent, but I feel like TSA is kind of pulling back on the weed thing.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier because he's like, I fully cleaned it. You can test it. There's no cannabis in it. It's a freshly cleaned product.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that as advice as go out and go to the airport and travel with your Puffco device.
But if you're going to try to travel with your Puffco, make sure you have the extra, probably like $12 to send it back home if you have to from the airport.
Yeah. So, do you want to get started in the topics or anything else you want to add about the Puffco? Because we've been hitting it the last few days to get a decent review on it.
It's been very nice.
It has been
I like
very
it a
nice.
lot.
That being said, can I go to the first topic?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I noticed this, and I think it was, I don't know if I was scrolling through TikTok one day or what, but this thought of a topic came to my mind. And I noticed that there's only 2 places that give out free protection, contraceptives, whatever you want to call them. But the only places I've seen it are either medical facilities, and specifically medical facilities that involve either sex-based stuff, like STI testing. Planned Parenthood would have them, I think. I've never been into a Planned Parenthood, but I would assume
they do have them, yes. I have been into a Planned Parenthood.
I would assume they would. Like, or I wouldn't even say assume. That's more of like an educated guess.
Yeah, because they are a family planning facility. And
yeah. And colleges.
Yeah.
Are kind of like the only places. But like with the medical facility, there's 2. It's like the family planning / STI testing, and then just anywhere that's LGBT focused.
Heck, any LGBT space, period. I have seen condoms.
And dental dams, which those are the only places I know to get dental dams.
Absolutely. I don't even, where would you buy those? I mean, online, obviously.
Yeah, it would have to be online. I have no idea where else to get them, because I've never seen dental dams at like Walmart, gas station, fucking pharmacy, but I see condoms in all those places.
Yeah.
Which is the weird part. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Why is it that, like, it is probably because of the patriarchy, but why is it that the STI protection of condoms for people with penises are more easily accessible than dental dams? Do you think everybody is like freaking DJ Khaled and doesn't like eating out?
Well, contrary to popular belief, not everybody. Unfortunately, not everybody likes going down. Which is a big unfortunality, because, like, why not? What's wrong with you that you don't?
If you're not willing to give it back, I don't think you should be able to get it, in my opinion. Now, if that works for your dynamic, fine. But in my honest opinion, if I can't do it, I don't want to give it. Yeah. If I can't give it, I don't want to get it. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
So, goddamn, that is just epitome of Switch.
I mean, pretty much. Real quick side tangent.
Yeah.
I retook that. There's that app, not a sponsor. But they had their own version of the BDSM test, and I showed you. Split right down the fucking middle.
Yeah.
Exactly, Switch.
So, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo's. No, but like, that's the thing with those kind of products, though. You see more condoms. And I'm like, okay, but like, even if you, like, are straight, you could still get STIs just from oral. So, I mean, that might be a good idea, because I remember sex ed, and everyone goes, even if you're going to give a blowjob, put a condom on. You don't know what that person has. And I'm like, okay, fair, that makes sense. So why are we not providing dental dams in the same setting?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
But, I mean, I understand why they're in colleges. I understand that
absolutely.
a whole 100%. Because, you know, I was going to say wholeheartedly, and I couldn't get the heartedly part out for some reason. But it's super understandable because everyone knows most colleges, kids are going to be kids. And I say kids as someone who's almost 30. To me, they're kind of kids.
Yeah.
But like younger adults, you know, just turned 18 to 22 range, going to college for the first time. And I'm saying 22 range because, you know, sometimes people take a few years off.
Yeah.
Some people take, you know, they get a job and save up for college. Some people go into the military and then go into college. Hi. But
some people go to college high. Hi. Hi.
But, you know, it makes sense because they're like, well, we can't really stop you from having sex, but we can stop you from unwanted pregnancies.
Yeah.
So, and spreading anything. So, just be safe.
Just be safe, yeah.
It makes sense for the STI and the Planned Parenthood clinics to have them because they're like, we don't want people to spread anything. We want people to be safe. We don't want any, you know, same thing as the colleges.
That's their whole shtick, you know.
The LGBT centers, and I don't, it's not like therapy. It's not like, you know, this is a therapist office that is pro-LGBT, even though they might. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying it's not as common.
Yeah.
But it's more like adult LGBT resource centers or like adult, like more where adults and younger, I would say some teens because they just want them to be safe as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more common for like older teens and adults. And I say older teens like 18, 19.
Yeah.
To have access to this stuff. And just, it makes sense, but it's a sad reminder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we're so pro here protection kind of thing was because of the AIDS
epidemic.
Yeah. So it's like, I get it. There's two thoughts that run in my head. Well, or three, technically. The first one is always, oh, cool. Free condoms, free dental dams. That's good. That's a good resource.
Heck,
Second one's the AIDS thing. And the third thing is, and this one is always like a kind of guilty thought, is like, how much, because we do this, how much do other people think this is all solely just based on sex? And like, because like, yes, there's certain aspects of the LGBT community, QIA+, that does involve sexual attraction. There's also romantic attraction and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forget that. So it's one of those things where, like, I'm glad that we do this, but I'm wondering how many outsiders with the notion that we're all a bunch of perverts use this in their, like, rage fuel. And it's nothing against our community. I don't want to say it's like, oh, hey, this is something we should stop doing.
But then also the same people who are going to look at us and go, look, see, you guys are sexual heathens, will have their 16-year-old daughter who had their boyfriend accidentally knock her up, have to have the baby, and, like, get married and shit. I feel like that's the same demographic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's the same demographic of people.
There is definitely a Venn diagram with some of quite
with
a bit of
lot of overlap.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating, I will say.
No, yeah, I totally understand.
And it's more of, I guess it's a more self-preservation thing because of all the rampant homophobia and transphobia that is going on.
Yeah.
Especially online. For some reason, TikTok's getting bad with it now, which is the weird thing. Twitter lately, which is segued into my other topic for later, so put a little mental pin in the fact that I said Twitter is becoming super toxic. But that makes sense, because what Elon said he wanted to do and what he's going to do. There's the pin. Segue. No, not yet. But it is definitely apparent with some of those online spaces. But
Yeah.
TikTok was never super bad. You would have an asshole or two, I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie. But TikTok got really bad for a minute.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, and I have been, this is harking back to the Factually episode that I watched about how Google's ruining the internet.
Yeah.
That the internet has become this echo chamber of people getting reactionary. And that is all it has become, which is unfortunate because the things that get, it's just all about how can I get views, how can I get reactions, how can I get interaction,
How can I get money?
how can I get money?
No, that makes sense.
And so now people are going to say outlandish shit. They're going to be ridiculous. They're going to stir the pot because then that's going to cause somebody else is going to go, oh shit, and they're going to make something that's then going to cause a reaction. And it's just it's a big circle jerk of people complaining anymore on the internet. I'm not going to lie, and I miss the heyday of I can go onto my MySpace and look at my friends' posts and go onto Gaia and walk around a virtual community.
Yeah, I feel like that's always been kind of a thing, though, like with anonymous like letters to the editor and everything.
It's just gotten worse.
It's just amplified because it's a lot more anonymous, and there's a lot less like editor filtering.
Reddit, perfect example, has always been like that.
Yeah, 4chan.
4chan, worse. 100% worse. But Reddit, they've always been, anonymity has been always a great thing about the internet, but there's a double-edged sword, because you can be whoever you want to be on the internet, but also that means everyone else can also be whoever they want to be on the internet, and you have those keyboard warriors who are just going to say, oh, well, I'm behind a computer screen, so it doesn't matter, and they forget. Now I do sound like another adult person. They forget there are other people on the other side of that screen. Like...
No, because like it's weird, because like there's a lot of online bullying coming from adults. This is a really weird tangent. Now I did not mean to get on.
No, we're good. But
like,
wasn't it the adults telling us when we were kids to be careful of the people on the internet?
Yeah.
And now it's just how the turntables.
Right. Did you
stupid Office reference? I never watched that. I watched this stupid show so many times. Hot take, don't like it. I make so many references to it.
I honestly have only watched clips, and it's mostly the prank clips, and that's honestly, all I care
that
about.
That show exists for the memes. I'm telling you, I don't know why people would sit down and watch that seriously.
I don't know. I mean, people like watching Always Sunny, and I'm like, these people are horrible, and they're like, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's like Schadenfreude. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but I mean, if I want to watch horrible people get things like dealt to them, I'd watch, I don't know, Lucifer, or
I'd watch Saw.
Saw.
Or I'd watch like Some sort of horror movie. I'd watch maybe like bird channels in there. I feel like.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that. Like I don't know. I just never quite got the humor of Always Sunny.
I don't get the humor of, if there is, of The Office. I guess that's the cringe culture humor. But I don't know. It's not even that cringy to me.
I don't know.
That was a weird side tangent about The Office. But anyway.
Is either of your topics quick because we have like 10 minutes before our break, or we can go a little longer before we take our break?
I don't think my topic's going to take super long.
Okay.
So we can talk about it before the break, and if we go a little over, that's fine.
All right.
But I found this and I needed to send it to you immediately. It's from sciencealert.com, and apparently the mother of all cannabinoids, CBG, has had its first human clinical trial to test how it impacts anxiety and stress. And it's only among 34 users, but like this is still big. This is a first clinical trial on a cannabinoid found in cannabis.
Yeah, no, it is really big. Could you do me a favor though?
What's up?
Can you read the title again for me?
I see what you're doing over there. Mother of all cannabinoids is tested in first human clinical trial.
So this podcast that my brother Thorpe, would shout out Thorpe, recommended for me to watch, and actually brought it up after we went ham on the cast report or review, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Called Maintenance Phase. They occasionally will do soundboard jokes like this and everything. So I was like, oh, I should get a soundboard. That'd be funny. And not like the soundboard we're recording with, like one on my phone. I can just push a button and be like, here are some meme sounds.
So CBG has recently become known as the mother of all cannabinoids because it can rapidly metabolize into CBD and THC, the psychoactive compound in cannabis. In the recent trial, those who took a tincture of CBG reported significantly reduced feelings of anxiety and stress in the hour after ingestion, compared to when they took a placebo. Much to the surprise of the researchers, participants also scored slightly better on verbal memory tests after taking CBG.
So you're telling me with my Dame Bramage that I should be drinking CBG tinctures?
Yes. Or smoking CBG flower. Take those CBG ingestibles.
Do we have any?
Yuzu ones, I think, have CBG in them. Verano Yuzu has CBG. Because even just one of those, is good for your tum-tum.
Yeah, that is. And that's what I've always recommended for people, was I knew CBG was good for your stomach health.
G for gut.
Huh?
CBG for gut. CBG. That's how I remember it. And it's good for your gut.
Yeah, okay. G for gut. Okay, I thought you were saying G for get. I'm like, what?
No, gut. I mean, if forget, G for forget. I mean, if you forget, I guess now you can take CBG to help with you forgetting for your verbal memory tests.
But yeah, it was, it's really good for calming your stomach. I always recommend, what we need to do is we need to either create ourselves or someplace. You know what? Don't even just credit us for this, but like you don't even have to pay us for this idea. But you know how like you and me, whenever we get stomach problems because we're hot and have tummy problems, that if you eat ginger, and we usually eat candied ginger, that it helps our stomach. So what if we do like how I made the Canna sugar with the CBD flour?
Do it with CBG flour and put it on.
Or a tincture, and
ginger.
Then make candied ginger with CBG infused sugar.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
that would be so great.
That would be so great for your tummy.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of my coworker now because she is so pregnant. She's about to hold on. What day is today? She's 8 days until she's like ready to go.
Is that her due date?
Yeah, the 21st, I think.
Oh boy.
But she has been vomiting this entire time, and I'm like, she could definitely benefit from that. Oh yeah, she's been sick her entire pregnancy. Nauseous, horrible. Like, and I'm like, you girl, come in when you can. All I need to do is eat some food. If we're slow enough, I'll just pop back there, just do what you got to do. But I was giving her some of the candied ginger too. I took it to work because I feel like neurodivergent people have tummy problems.
A lot, yeah. There's quite a bit.
That's another Venn diagram with a whole lot of overlap. But anyway, this took place at the Washington State University from psychologist. Can I start over?
Yeah, sure.
This took place at the Washington State University with psychologist Carrie Cutler and her colleagues. They were intrigued by their results, but don't want to let the increasing hype around the CBG market outpace the actual science, as it has been the case with CBD.
I mean, that makes sense.
It would also be interesting to examine whether CBG might offset the detrimental effects of THC on verbal memory, as CBD was initially purported to do until multiple attempts to replicate those findings failed, wrote the authors in their published paper.
Well, yeah, because isn't CBD more just an inhibitor as a cannabinoid? Like, it just blocks some of the receptors?
Yeah. CBD is the most famous non-intoxicating cannabinoid found so far, with the potential to treat insomnia, anxiety, and possibly chronic pain. Yet despite the fact that many CBD products are often marketed as cure-alls, the scientific evidence behind many of them that claims is lackluster or missing altogether. And then it says the same is even more true for CBG. We need to avoid claims saying it's a miracle drug, as we need to with all of them, as all of the bud tenders are instructed to do in your state training, because you're not curing anything, you're helping alleviate symptoms.
Yeah, and we've talked about that even, like, before either of us worked in the industry, when we just started the podcast, the old days.
CBG is also very good. It shows in some animal studies to show potential anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving effects, and can also reduce seizures in mouse models of child
epilepsy.
Thank you. Epilepsy. There we go. Until now, however, there have only been 2 published human clinical trials on the effects of CBG, neither of which look at its potential to treat anxiety.
I haven't really heard much of CBG doing that, to be honest. But I mean, I know it helps in a lot of different areas. I mean, usually when like patients they have IBS, we recommend strains and stuff that are high in CBG for them.
Yeah.
And with you talking about the yuzu troches or the bits from Verano, we sell that at my store, and that's one of his favorite things.
Absolutely. It says after swallowing the tincture, participants rated their mood, stress, anxiety, and other variables, such as feelings of intoxication or side effects like dry eyes or mouth. They did this at 20 minutes, 45, and then again at 60 minutes after ingestion. A week later, it was repeated with the participants who received the placebo receiving the tincture and vice versa. Experiments were conducted remotely over Zoom. And participants taking CBG only scored lower on one global test of anxiety, not on another more specific anxiety test. Despite limitations, the initial findings on CBG's potential to treat anxiety and stress align with a prior survey by some of the same authors.
Okay, so it definitely seems like it's going to be working. I don't think it's going to be as easy to get in the general public as CBD was. Because CBD is very common in the hemp-based plants, not so much with CBG, and most medical programs, or even recreational programs, the CBG in a lot of the products is kind of low, unless you're specifically breaking it down, but I feel like it's more, this is just an educated guess, I don't have any, bio degree or anything behind me to actually confirm this. I don't work in the grow facility, but I feel like the higher quality of CBG is going to be found in the actual cannabis plant, not hemp.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, unless they do something screwy with spraying or chemical stuff, they get THCO. I don't know.
And I feel like that's also where it differs greatly with CBD. How? I'm so sorry if you heard that. That was my ankle cracking. The CBD, I know I've had it both from your CBD store, which is hemp derived CBD, and CBD from a medical dispensary. To me, they both react the same.
Yeah.
I become calm, my anxiety goes away, it helps me sleep. Or in the morning, it helps me just, sometimes the coffee makes you jittery or it makes your tongue upset, and you take some CBD with it and it doesn't make you jittery, it helps you be awake and everything. But yeah, you'll know who I'm talking about. If she's listening, she'll know who I'm talking about. I've learned a lot about CBG from my work wife, because she is always looking for CBG. Because again, beautiful person with tummy problems, we gotta have our CBG, and we had tried the organic remedies ones. I think they were all right, but I don't know if she's tried the yuzu ones yet.
I want to put on record that even though it has been very public with this podcast that we are polyamorous, their work wife is not their partner at all.
No, it's just I said it one time, I think, when I was talking to you, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I told you before I was telling her at work that I called her work wife just I don't know.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and she's like the dispensary mom, and I guess I'm the dispensary dad. But then, like, the other coworker I was talking about earlier, who's Preganante, is also a dispensary mom.
Perganant.
Pregat.
Pregante.
Pregante.
If you guys don't know what we're referencing, go on YouTube, type Yahoo Answers pregnant, and just watch. It is a time capsule of just some great misspellings
of internet humor, and also rip Yahoo Answers.
Right. Is there anything else to that article you wanted to add or talk about CBG?
I just thought it was really neat. I found that and I was like, well, even more reason to go after CBG. It helps your tongue, helps your brain, it helps.
Yeah, it helps. But like you said, it helps with the symptoms, not the causation.
Exactly.
So, it feels like it cures you, but it's just taking care of the issues that are caused by the issue. It is helping the issues caused by the problem, not the problem itself.
Yes.
Ugh. Sorry, I was trying to say that backwards, but also thinking of Rocky Horror just going, and I'll take care of the problem.
But not the symptoms.
Yeah. And I horribly butchered that line. I couldn't remember what he says before not the symptoms.
The only reason I remember is because I really like that callback.
I'm like, what about those
about the pesky symptoms? But not the symptoms. And then he pulls the lever and he goes up in the elevator.
All right. We're at that time for our break, so we will be back after a quick message.
Woo!
Pretty in pink and purely wood pulp derived, Blazy Susan pink rolling papers and cones will add a pop of color to your next smoke sesh. Their classic pink papers are naturally dyed, vegan, GMO-free, and food safe. They contain no amounts of heavy metals or pesticides unlike other paper producers. Care about what goes in your lungs with Blazy Susan papers and cones. Use promo code BGSOTC20 at checkout to get 20% off with your friends at Smoking Out the Closet. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $50 in the United States. And we are back. So over the break, you took a sip of the Great Fago we just bought.
Yeah. And
I thought of a joke, so I'm going to share it with everybody on the podcast. Call us ICP because we've been going through a crap ton of Fago. But no, seriously, I got you on that Fago kick.
Oh yeah, it was there. What the hell do we get from them first? Their Mountain.
They're like knockoff Mountain Dew thing.
It's like Mountain Lightning, Mountain Thunder. I don't know.
No, that's a Walmart brand.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was Mountain in the name. It was like something twist.
Yeah. Anyway, it was good.
Yeah, it was real good.
And then we got the grape, and then we got their Sprite knockoff.
Mm-hmm. So my next topic, is actually about, kind of something that kind of came out recently. So I'm going to be talking about Elon Musk. So the reason why I want to talk about Elon Musk is because about a week ago, he was on the Daily Wire on an interview with Jordan Peterson. And if you're unfamiliar who Jordan Peterson is, like I was when I was first introduced to him, he is the guy who said being gay is due to a mental traumatic event. That you aren't born gay, that the only reason why you're gay is because someone did something.
No.
Yeah. I need to get a boo button for this, because it's a customized soundboard, so I need to get a boo button.
Well, now I'm pulling up my soundboard, too, so I'm going to be ready over here.
But yeah, Elon, back when he first bought it, was quoting saying he originally bought it to help garner free speech and stopping censorship, and to help humanity grow towards the future. But looking back at it now, and a lot of the things people were concerned about, we all kind of know why. So on the video, Elon says he's estranged from his child, his oldest child, because she is a trans woman. And I say woman because she's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And how his son was killed by the woke mind virus after he was tricked into agreeing to gender affirming care procedures. The GTA wasted sound effects. But in the interview, Elon calls the sorry, I'm trying to read through my notes. Elon calls gender reassignment surgery child mutilation and sterilization. Now, keep in mind that the youngest ever performed gender confirmation surgery was on a 17-year-old who went through years of therapy and had both parents' consent only for a mastectomy. You have a thought?
Does anybody else think it's weird that these people who are so anti-trans are so preoccupied with these literal children's genitalia?
A little bit, yeah. That's
a lot
of it.
That's the part that I'm just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is this any of your fucking why? Gross. Stop asking about this.
But, like, literally, because, like, there's been points where, like, you know, people who are investigated or go to, like, different doctors, and there's, like, a doctor-specific forum.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, different subsections. And internationally, everyone agrees that doing gender confirmation surgery on a child, even taking the ethics side out of it, does not make sense because of how much development the child still needs to go through before being able to do surgery like that won't cause harm in one way or the other, or just being extremely difficult to do. So yeah, it's really weird. And then so Elon's child, who goes by Vivian Jenna Wilson, who took her mother's maiden name because Elon was kind of that dad that was never there. Daddy wasn't there. But stop before we get sued by Mike Myers. Elon's quoted saying, "I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys. This was really before I had an understanding what was going on, and we had COVID. So there was a lot of confusion, and I was told my child might commit suicide." He's quoted claiming that the process done for children who are far below the age of consent, and he said he agreed with Peterson's belief that anyone who promotes this practice should go to prison. "I was tricked into doing this," Musk said. "I lost my son. Essentially, they call it dead naming for a reason. The reason that they call it dead naming is because your son is dead." No, well, I mean, if you want to look at it in a spiritual sense, yes, but your child is reborn as another person. Or, hey, newsflash, if you want to look at it as, like, brains and science, it's still the same fucking person. They just figured out who the fuck they are.
Right?
I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that, Musk said, and we are making some progress. Now, keep in mind, This, I believe, is the reason why he bought Twitter.
Like, what? He's just on this random, like, are you okay? Because I said, Elon, are you okay? I'm like, just random bullshit. Just, what?
Yeah.
Woke virus.
I'm trying to find, where's my screenshots?
Oh, so that wasn't the sound clip I wanted to play.
No worries. But there was a picture going on the LGBT subreddit, and it was from Elon talking about how LGBTQI plus people are themselves, and we should respect that and just leave them alone for being their authentic selves. Now here we are, fucking 6 years later, and oh no, he's either griffing for money or he's just a dick, and it was just a PR thing. They had someone working for him as a PR, and now he has his account. That's him, and he's always like,
yeah. It was probably a PR thing, honestly.
So in this, I have some notes from 2 different articles. So Vivian responded. Wilson was legally granted her name and gender change at 18 at Santa Monica Courthouse in California in 22. She changed her name was due to gender identity and apparent dislike of her father. According to a petition filed in April that year in the LA County Superior Court, quote, I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. Understandable. And I'm glad I have my mother's maiden name for that reason, because same.
That's why I changed my fucking last name when I went to foster care.
Apparently, Wilson's mother, Justine, a Canadian author who divorced Musk in 2008, couple share 6 kids. Now keep in mind, Elon also named one of his kids a symbol and some letters and some numbers. Yeah.
Poor kid.
So yeah, this is just going on about some stuff and like how gender affirming care is valid. I saved these 2 articles because I wanted the quotations in it. But wait, there's more. So, in another article, Vivian actually comes out and talks about her father after everything he said on Jordan Peterson. And she has a TikTok now calling him out.
Nice.
Okay, basically talking about what I just talked about. So recently on Threads, Wilson shot back, dismissing her father's characterization of her childhood as entirely fake. She criticized him for peddling harmful stereotypes about trans and queer people in an attempt to garner sympathy points. He really doesn't know what I was like as a child because he quite simply wasn't there. And the 20-year-old said in one post, as her father was present, and when her father was present, Wilson said he relentlessly harassed her for her femininity and queerness. So even that's what makes me also agree with the whole 2017, 2018 post of Elon saying LGBT people should be left alone. That was a PR thing.
Absolutely, 100%.
Washington Post reporters called and texted a phone number for Wilson, but did not get a response. Musk did not respond to email requests or comments from the Post either. The dispute marks a rare public spat between Wilson and Musk, whose frustrations over her transition has sent her to his well-documented rightward political shift. And this is a thing that Maintenance Phase was talking about. It's okay when it's someone else's kid, but when it's my kid, oh hell no. That's the thing with being gay and lesbian and bi and whatever, and now we're seeing it with trans and non-binary, and it's fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it is pretty much like Musk is now supporting Trump and Agenda 47 with the whole like criminalizing gender care for everybody. So yeah, it's a fun thing. Fun. I don't get why there's trans people online saying, "Oh, I'm for Trump."
Plugs for salt.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and then you said, I don't like a lot of his policies, but I'm like, okay, well, one wants to make your gender healthcare illegal. I know you're still on HRT. What are you going to do when that medicine's gone now?
Yeah.
You're going to get sick for a minute. I'll tell you that damn much. At least. And, like, I'm not saying don't vote for Trump. Like, vote for whoever you want, but I'm going to put all the cards and information on the table. Trump is not good.
No.
For a numerous amount of reasons.
Well, I'll share it with you, and I'll share it with the podcast, too. I don't know if anybody listening heard his crazy fucking ramblings in Harrisburg. I couldn't even remember telling you. I couldn't tell you what he was talking about now. And I'm also surprised he stopped somewhere else in Pennsylvania, since seeing as he got shot out here.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Fox News was live, like, their cameras live, and after a certain point, they just moved the cameras away and turned off the sound. They went away. You have any idea how hard it has to be of, like, just pure ramblings that your major right-wing news outlet Fox is just like, yeah, no, sorry, no.
If you listen to his fucking ramblings, that's what we're gonna call them anyway. Because that's what they are. The crickets. There are crickets. I was listening to him live because my coworker was listening to him until he lost too many brain cells. Yeah, he just crickets. His followers are even just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a video of him at that Harrisburg speech, and there's a lady behind him, and you could just, everyone's putting it with the sound clip like, oh, I fucked up because he's rambling, and she's looking around. She puts the sign down slowly, and then just completely sits down, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Anyway, it gives me a little bit more optimism.
Yeah, it does. Actually, do you want to, just a quick side tangent here. I want to talk about Kamala.
Okay.
Or Madam VP Harris, however you want to say. I feel like I'm mispronouncing her name, but I'm not doing it on purpose. It's Kamala or Kamala, and I can never remember which one. Kamala?
Kamala.
Okay. I do apologize. I'm not great with names. Brain don't work. I got name damage. That is from a YouTube video, and I can't remember where. But it stuck with me. Oh, I remember. It was that weird, like, before everything came out of Bill Cosby, the Bill Cosby rap. The kids didn't listen to the rap music. What gives them the damn damage? But anyway, so there's this big thing about how Miss Harris is super against cannabis and was locking people up for cannabis charges and keeping prisoners in jail for these things. And I want to say 100% right here, looking at the evidence and court records not too long ago. Thanks to some people online who dug in and found everything for us on the internet. That's not true. Everyone's saying that she imprisoned 1,000 or so black men over cannabis charges. It was like 6, and it wasn't even all cannabis charges. She also implemented in California, while she was the Attorney General, a program to help felons better their life. It was like a
rehabilitation.
Thank you, program to where it gave them class, like they were able to go to classes, they were able to have an easier time going jobs. They were like, hey, these are the jobs that are going to be hiring you. Here's, like, it was like a guidebook and a program to help them better their lives. Because sometimes people become felons, breaking smaller laws, or just doing something like they stole X amount of money, and it was all groceries.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, yes, they broke the law, but still, you also kind of got to look at the reason why they broke the law sometimes. Because laws are just suggestions put in by a higher power. I'm not going on that Brandon Lee Mulligan's rant. But Yeah, it was basically, and she's super pro cannabis from everything I've seen. So, like, I think she has been one of the big implements of helping Biden with the whole pro cannabis everything, and helping with like the more legalized stuff, because like she can speak legally, so like she knows how like the laws and everything. And everyone's like, "Well, she hasn't done anything as a VP." I'm like, "Yeah, she has. She's been a split decision on a lot of votes that end up helping America, because the House and Senate have not been super great at agreeing on anything like ever.
Yeah.
At least in my lifetime. But she's helped doing stuff to actually like pass laws, and she came down and she goes, "No, yes, this will help Americans," and votes yes on it, and it passes. She's also been doing like what most VPs do, and talk to other countries and leaders along with the president or without the president, and helping on foreign aid. That was what Dick Cheney did. But do you remember any time anyone's like, "Oh, what's Dick Cheney doing? Oh, what's freaking Robert Agnew doing? What's Carter doing?" No, because VPs are like in the background most of the time. They don't really do a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
Well, at least they don't do a whole heck of a lot in the public eye. You really got to be watching C-SPAN for hours on end to really know what they're doing. And I'm sorry, ain't nobody got time for that.
No, and if you're doing that, go get a hobby.
If you're doing that, you're probably someone who stays at home all the time, and you're probably really into politics for one way or the other. And that's fine, but like you can't be sitting there the entire time and watching them. There's physically no way. You gotta sleep, you gotta eat, you gotta socialize. In some facet, I hope. Because we're supposed to be as creatures, as evolved creatures.
We're supposed to be social animals.
Yeah. Alright, so you ready to... I took a lot of time. Do you have another topic you want to talk about?
I actually don't know what my only topic
today
was about my research.
Your research? Okay, well, you want to talk about the Cannabis Festival?
Absolutely.
This year was awesome.
It was.
It's really weird because now we're starting to get recognized.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh yeah, I remember you from last year."
Or like I went over to talk to this one person about the Cleveland School of Cannabis. I think it's either Cleveland or Columbus School. It's one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can get kind of educated on like cannabis and kind of get some courses under your belt, which could be, as of right now, with how the states are running, not really super advantageous. It's more like brownie point padding right now. But like down the road when it goes recreational federally, I could see that being a good thing,
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna knock it. It definitely sounds like a lot better than like the cannabis sommelier courses. It's like, I'm sorry, fuck it, that's a fart sniffer thing. You're just sniffing your own fucking farts. Like, do sommeliers have an importance in tradition and high-end culinary facilities with like wines and alcohol, different types of alcohol with pairings? Sure. But you're just going to be a cannabis sommelier just to like, "Oh, you like this kind of flavor? Here, let me like, you're a glorified bud tender with extra fucking steps, and I'm not paying $1,300 for the cheapest course, let alone $13,000 for the actual sommelier license."
Jesus.
Yeah, which only works in 2 fucking states. But I digress. The cannabis school that's in Ohio actually is teaching like botanical things and help you learn how to be a grower, helps you be better bud tenders, and teaches you the science of everything. So that I am 100% behind. But yeah, not this cannabis sommelier bullshit. But it was funny because I walked up and talked to them, and we don't have a lot of public appearances. If you're not following our Instagram or our online stuff, and you're just listening to the podcast, you really don't know what we look like.
Yeah.
So I walked up to the person and he goes, "Oh, are you interested in this?" Because I was just trying to, see what was going on. And I just remembered another thing I want to talk about because of the Cannabis Festival. But it basically... It's, and I was like, no. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there. It's not really something I need because I work in the industry in 2 different facets, in a sense. He goes, "Oh," it's like, well, one, I work in actually the industry. I work as a bud tender at a cannabis dispensary. And then I was like, and then I have a podcast. And he goes, yeah, podcast? What's your podcast called? And I'm like, smoking out the closet. And he goes, oh, you're Rayven. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Oh, you're blushing.
Shut up.
That's cute.
So we were talking and everything. Ironically, the person I was talking to is also named Rayven.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Oh God, no! Shush. I hated that. I actually had a patient come through our drive-through the other day, and it was like, the other day. It was like months ago at this point.
The other day could be any time between last week and 2 years.
But she's like, "What's your name? You were very helpful." I'm like, Rayven, like the bird. Caw! I was like, I don't know how to respond to this. I'm not saying anything. And then I learned about a new adult use bill.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I missed. I guess I've been slacking a little bit, but also I've been fighting with my mental health for the last bit again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It's a House Bill 2500. It's an adult use bill that was introduced like last week. That a local representative was having their team talk about and everything there. That was the thing that caught my eye was like the politician's name, and I was thinking like, is the politician here or anything? So there's like changes. So they want like social equity. They want public safety and consumer protections. They want regulations of like Delta 8, 9 hemp-based products. So make sure they're not like spraying shit on everything.
What is his name?
The politician?
Yeah.
Her name is Emily Kinkade. No.
I was like, because there was somebody I was talking. I was, came to one of my union meetings. Can't remember what the hell his name is.
They're part of the. They're in the 20th district, like Bellevue, PA, is where their office is at.
Okay.
They also want strict regulations on advertising and packaging, prohibiting false or misleading statements, promoting overconsumption, showing minors consuming cannabis, like making unsupported health claims or using images to appear to minors. Okay, fuck off with that.
Yeah.
Fuck off with that. First off, minors using it as medicine should be actually advertised and shown that, like, yes, this is, and there is science behind it.
Yes.
But the whole, like, okay, having cartoons is not making it is not incentivizing or advertising towards kids. You can get fucking beer that has Dunkin' Donuts jelly donuts on it. Voodoo Ranger has beers and ciders that have a cartoony skeleton on it. You can get freaking liquor with a cartoon captain and octopus on it. You can buy wine with cartoon characters on it. Fuck out of here with that double standard bullshit.
Exactly.
You
can get alcohol that tastes like pink lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's see. Restrictions on cannabis use in specific locations like schools, public parks, places of worship, vehicles, or near minors. Okay, I get the public parks and the schools. Like, you want to like make sure there's like PA is really weird with like smoking, so like there's a lot of restrictions with that and actual smoking cigarettes nowadays. Which, okay, fine, whatever. And you treating it like in this instance, treating it like alcohol. Okay, but like schools, hey, if I'm hoping that the limited access in schools is for those teachers and students who use it as a medicine.
Yeah, so like you get tinctures, ingestibles.
Mm-hmm. Places of worship makes no fucking sense to me because, hey, news fucking flash, there's some religions that cannabis is an integral part of their religion. Fucking Rastafarians. Thank you.
Exactly. Also, the Satanic Temple likes to partake a lot.
Include strict security requirements for operations, including age verification, medical license, caregiver ins and outs. So basically how the medical program's already fucking working. Employers can enforce drug-free workplace policies and may discipline for cannabis usages. Sure, if you're using it recreationally. Still created protections for those who keep it in the medical program.
Yes.
Outline strict lab testing requirements. That's already there. Local government can enact ordinances growing the operations of cannabis businesses, blah, blah, blah. Social equity, create criteria for social equity applicants, including individuals or family members who were incarcerated for non-violent cannabis crimes. Good. Implement a merits-based scoring system of social equity applications. No requirement for charter or existing operations. Establishes a cannabis business development fund for education, technical assistance, financial support. Establish for general administrative and program costs on regular supported set timelines. Establish guidelines for resale and transfer for licenses. Criminal justice creates a clean cannabis clean slate policy and automatically expunges the process and ensures individuals with past cannabis offenses have their records cleared automatically. Good.
Yes.
Leverage Pennsylvania's agriculture and medical marijuana program. Infrastructure calls for the Department of Agriculture to have regulatory authority over both medical and adult use cannabis. Do we do that with pharmaceuticals? Like, do we do that with, like, plant-based medicine? The Department of Agriculture? I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess for the growing aspects, sure, but I still feel like the DOH should be very involved with the medical side of it. Eradicate illicit market. You're never going to do that. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Create good jobs and generate tax revenue. I mean, yeah, we're going to make more money and everything.
Operation Pothole.
So, I mean, it sounds good on paper. There's a lot of things that I don't like about it, and there's a lot more that I do. But there was a previous bill that was put on, which I think it was like House Bill 2210, I think. And I think it was actually a bit better as a bill.
Yeah.
Because it's not transferring the medical stuff to the Department of Agriculture. Like, sure, you want the plant growing side of it? Sure. Have that to the Department of Agriculture. I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
The consumption side, at least for the medical industry, has to be the DOH.
Yes.
It has to be. Because not only that guarantees with the way PA's law works with pharmaceuticals, is even if it's not considered pharmaceutical, with the DOH regulation on it, will still make it a pharmaceutical product.
Yeah.
So no taxes on medical stuff.
As it should be.
As it should be. Like I said, and there's a lot of good, there's some bad, but this bill also doesn't have home grow in it. 2210 did. Yeah. So not a huge fan of this bill. It could be better. Honestly.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the Cannabis Festival. Sorry, I took a big tangent for that bill because I wanted to talk about that real fast.
It was important.
We tried Moonlit Burger for the first time. Shout out to Moonlit Burger.
Yes, so good.
Which I think is probably going to be your schedule for this episode.
Absolutely. I love you, Moonlit Burger. I don't know if anybody has listened to this. I did tag them in the live, I think.
Yeah.
But I've always thought of, I'm not quite sure if it was supposed to be like a tongue now that I'm thinking about it, because it kind of looks space themed, like their truck, the Patty Mobile kind of looks spacey. But like I always associated Moonlit Burger with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, just because the burger looks like it has a tongue and then like the alien on the front, and I was like, I got my space burger.
I mean, it does kind of look like a tongue though.
Right?
It kind of reminds me of like a more cartoony man-eater burger. Or man-eating bun, whatever that Yu-Gi-Oh card was.
Yes. And I was like, oh, so good. The veggie burger, spectacular. Their smash-style burgers, oh my god, they're so great. Whatever the hell that moonlight sauce is or whatever, great.
It was good. It was something like, I don't know how expensive it is. It is like 5 minutes down the road from us, but like, I don't know. And then we're like, hey, we see the prices right here. We don't have to feel obligated to stay because it's right here. So we just see the prices there. We don't have to get it.
It was like $8 for your classic burger was $8.
Yeah.
Mine was mine 8 or was mine was 8. Mine was a veggie burger. Yours was 7.
Yeah, and
for
like
a single.
For a food truck, that price makes sense. If that's the price of the sit down restaurant, which I think it is.
It is, yeah. They're the same across the board. It's the same in the truck as it is in the restaurant.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Gotta buy fries separate. The fries were fucking great.
Yeah,
though.
the
fries
were...
by themselves were $4, but that was a lot of
fries.
That
was a big helping.
Oh my god, so good. Like, you and I split those.
Yeah, we had to. That was like a McDonald's
basket.
Yeah, basket.
But better. And vegan.
And not McDonald's.
Yeah, not McDonald's, which immediately makes them better.
But what else do we... Oh, we actually, my Skittle, and I do apologize, I can't remember the name of the person that was talking to us. Did they say that they listened to our podcast? Were we an inspiration for them to start? I don't remember or not. I
can't remember. They were asking us a lot of questions about how we do it, though.
Yeah, because they're about to start. I thought they already started, but they haven't yet. So, Canna Talk, it looks like Canna_Talk or Canna Talk 420 on a lot of things. But I love the little, like, how we're like the queer podcast, like our little intro. It says, Canna Talk, where we talk about being high, happy, or horrible. You choose the vibe every day. That is a fucking awesome ass tagline.
I love that.
So keep an eye out for them and listen to their show whenever it does get started. And if we were an inspiration, that really makes me happy, because like Weed and Grub and Cool Nerd Weed Show were inspirations for us to start the podcast. Well, for me to actually start the podcast, and then I just kind of dragged you along.
And then I was like, oh yeah, this is fun.
But they were big inspirations for me. So it's kind of like a paying it forward cycle, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm in the next step. You have a thought? Go ahead.
I want to talk about more food from the Cannabis Festival.
Okay, go right ahead. Oh, I know what you're going to
Our friend Eric, hello. Can I have 2 Skittles?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, hi Eric. I know you listen. I tagged him in the live too, and I saw him the other day downtown. But, god damn it, those dumplings, so good. We need to like go again and get more Rayven. They were so good.
Oh, I know. They used to give it to us when it was in at our store. He would bring it over. I think he supplied us one not this past 420, but like the year before, like 2023's 420.
I love that.
He gave us dumplings and everything.
Great.
I don't remember if we paid him or not for that, but still, it was like he supplied it, and they were good.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Did they do delivery?
I have no idea, to be honest.
They do. It's dangerous. It was so good.
But their kitchen, I know, is on the other side of the city. So, I don't think we're in the zone for it.
Fair. Well, when the tea gets back up and running, we can go. Yeah. Get stoned, jump on the tea, get some dumplings, come home. But yeah, PGH dumplings, go check them out. They're fucking fantastic.
They were good. We got the honey. We both got honey chicken, right?
Honey chicken, absolutely. I would love to buy a whole box of like 36 of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that would be, but
I mean,
that would be really good.
We'll find out. But I will say, it was very interesting, because like they were like more flat top cooked this time than the way we got them before. Which I'm not saying is bad. It reminded me more of gyoza than a dumpling, but I really like gyoza, so I'm not complaining. I was just like, okay. But also, event cooking, trying to make dumplings at an event, a little harder.
It was so cool. Also, shout out to my coworker. I'm not gonna name this because coworkers, but
yeah.
Her dad has a shop, and they were so right behind us, and so it was kind of like we just got all our buddies around us.
Yeah, it was
High
a cool
Hemp
time.
Infused was on the other side, but
which I didn't see them when I was walking around, but I was kind of surprised you didn't actually go out, and when they told us where they were, you were going to go like, oh, I need to get more soap.
Yeah, and then I forgot. And then I was just like, I'm just going to sit here. I don't want to sit at the show.
Okay.
So, I don't just want to leave you, abandon you at the table.
I don't care. When it's an event, honey, and I will say this for any of our listeners, I will be that one at the table most often than not. I don't mind. I actually am okay doing that. And interacting with a lot of our listeners, so I don't mind.
That's also when I don't mind being on the social medias and taking the pictures.
Yeah.
Because I like to go around and look at the stuff and... Well, good. Now I know that you don't care really about sitting there and talking to the peoples and doing the things, then I'll go out and do the socials.
I might ask for like one round.
Yeah.
And just so I could see stuff and buy stuff. Like I bought us that
cool fucking sign.
That cool fucking sign, yeah. It's this house... Okay, let me try doing my best Paladin impression. This house runs without the racism. All right, I'm just trying to do a very southern older lady. This house runs on coffee and cannabis, y'all. I didn't have the y'all part. I threw that in. But yeah, this house runs on coffee and cannabis.
Yeah.
Which, for you, 100%. Me,
Absolutely.
every now and then.
I run on coffee.
I don't wake and bake as much as you do.
I try to every day when I go to work. I have a routine. Whether it's my cart, whether it's a joint, whether it's a little tiny bowl, whether it's iced, hot, latte, espresso, Americano, fucking
A Reggiano.
Nespresso, Keurig, K-cup, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Some sort of coffee and cannabis. Caffeine and cannabis. Even.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a Red Bull and a Red Bull and a cart, and sometimes, a
lot of my time, it's if I do get a coffee, because when I get my free coffee, I get go.
Mm-hmm.
Or a soda, and then I'm hitting my cart on the way to work. But we've been a little longer on this episode. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty,
this is a good episode.
It is a good episode. I'm glad. I'm definitely glad we did the Cannabis Festival. I feel like it kind of reignited the spark.
Absolutely. I also like having the microphones. Feels like more official. I get more
official
into it.
Yeah. Not with those little TikTok mic things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Because I used to do radio commercials and shit, and we had real microphones like this. I think
real microphones like mine, not the Guitar Hero.
Not the Guitar Hero one
for
that
you.
I have. Hey, I got the Guitar Hero one because I'm a rock star. I got the hair and everything.
Don't mind me, I'm just dying over here. Well, once again, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Asmodeus, I use they, them pronouns.
And this has been another episode of
Smoking Out the Closet.
I forgot to say the thing.
It's all good. We'll catch you next time.
Bye!